Welcome to SQL Server 101. What is SQL Server? My name is Gethin Ellis. You can read more about me on my blog, gethinellis.com. Follow me on Twitter at Gethin_Ellis, and obviously subscribe to this YouTube channel to keep up to date with the latest videos too. This session is going to look at what comprises SQL Server. And when someone mentions SQL Server to you, you probably think of the database engine. Database is a place for storing your mission critical data, and SQL Server provides a back-end data layer for your business applications. Your applications could be anything from banking systems, e-commerce stores, insurance quotes and hotel booking systems. So SQL Server is a database management system. It's got a very powerful database engine at its core. Okay, and it's a database management system that is responsible for enforcing your database's structure, ensuring the data is stored correctly, enforcing any rules around values of data that are entered into the database. An example I always quote is a employee salary table. Your employee's salary are likely to fall within a range of values. I suspect nobody is working for an organization for free, and they're definitely not paying to work there, so the salary shouldn't be a negative value, and there might be some upper limit on that too, and the database management system enforces those types of rules. It will also recover your database to a consistent point. In the event of a server crash, you might have your applications might be talking to your database when the server crashes. That database needs to recover up to a consistent point, so any committed transactions are actually in the database, and anything that never actually completed is rolled back, and the database management system provides that functionality. SQL Server is a relational database management system. Relational databases are the most common types still of database management systems, although with the advent of big data, NoSQL data stores are becoming more and more popular. With a relational database management system, business entities, things like customers, orders, employees, they get represented by tables in your database. Each table comprises columns, which are attributes of an entity, and we'll have a look at some of these in just a minute, and rows, which represent an instance of an entity. These entities can be related. For example, a customer can have many orders. We've got an example of our customer entity here and some of the attributes. The customer would be our customers table. The attributes of customer ID, first name, last name, and the contact information there would be columns in our customer table. And there's a relationship between our customer table and our order table, and that relationship is enforced with a primary key foreign key relationship. So when we're inserting an order into our orders table, the customer ID value being entered will be checked that it exists and is a valid customer ID in the customer table, otherwise the database management system will reject it. But aside from the database engine, SQL Server has got much more to it than that as well. All these transaction processing database systems will be generating data, and in some cases this data can be vast. Business intelligence tries to provide or gather some information from that data that can be useful for making business decisions, and SQL Server's got a variety of components like integration services, which is an ETL tool, allows you to get data out of a variety of different data sources, perform some transformations to it, the T in ETL, and then load that data into something else, say a data warehouse. It's got analysis services. SQL Server analysis services allows you to build a cube based on possibly some data marts, but a cube is basically, think of a cube as a cache of answers. How many bikes did we sell in a given store in a given quarter of a given year? With a pre-processed cube, you can get the answer to that question really quickly. If you were trying to get that information out of a relational database, there would be a lot more data crunching involved to get that answer back. And then finally, we're likely to want to report on this data, and that's where SQL Server Reporting Services comes in. It's Microsoft's enterprise reporting tool, and it can use relational databases, it can use SQL Server analysis services. It doesn't have to be SQL Server, it can be any other data source that reporting services can connect to using OLADB or ODBC. There are some other components of SQL Server as well, such as master data services, data quality services. SQL Server 2016's got integration with things like R and Hadoop as well for further statistical analysis. What components do you need? Well, it really depends on what you're trying to do. When you're designing your infrastructure, you've got some decisions to make. The components you're going to use: do you just need the database engine? Do you need reporting services and analysis services as well? Do you need integration services too? What computing resource do these components need? It's going to very much depend on what those resources or on what those components are doing. Are you going to split the components up and install them across multiple different servers, allowing your infrastructure to scale? Will you use virtual machines? Will you use cloud-based virtual machines? Will you use maybe Azure SQL databases? What will the service accounts run as? Will they have separate accounts to run each service, or will they all run as the same one? So when you install the different components, they will run as different Windows services. Now the example I've got here is taken from a demo virtual machine that I use. You can see there I've got SQL Server integration services installed at the top. We've got the SQL Server itself, MS SQL Server, that's running. We've got the SQL Server agent, which is SQL Server's own scheduling tool. And then some of the BI components there, they're installed but they're not currently running. This is all on one virtual machine. When you take this to production, you might split this up, and we've got a typical SQL Server architecture here where we've got multiple SQL Server database engines installed running several SQL Server databases. We've got an AdventureWorks data warehouse which also runs on the database engine. We're using integration services to move our data from our business systems and business databases such as AdventureWorks and Eastwind into our data warehouse, and we're building cubes on top of that. Then we've got reporting services which we are using to provide reports to our end business users, allowing them to analyze and look at the information that our data is providing them with, and possibly they're making key decisions off the back of that. So in a nutshell, that is what SQL Server is. It's a database engine, but there's so much more to it than just a database engine. My name's Gethin Ellis. Check out my blog at gethinellis.com. Follow on Twitter, Gethin_Ellis, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel.